History was reflected today here at Tampa Stadium as the first 9 years of Tampa Bay Buccaneer football came to a close. It's been the first 9 years of a sport that gave individual cities a new name, Tampa Bay. 9 years of exciting highs and frustrating lows. A new national recognition, then the Super Bowl 18 host. Through it all, John McKay led these Buccaneers from record-setting losses, 0-26, to record-setting expansion team wins. As John McKay walks off the field for the final time, we will turn back the pages of his career tonight. And you'll find that friend and foe alike agree that his accomplishments will rank John McKay as one of the all-time great coaches in America.
The McKay Years, a television special produced by WTOG-TV Channel 44, is being brought to you in part by Pabst Brewing, makers of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. For the real taste in beer, Pabst is the place.
The game with the New York Jets today was, in many ways, typical of the 9 years of Buccaneer football. Many fans came to see James Wilder's race to the record, and many came to say goodbye to the only coach the Buccaneers have had. In the next 30 minutes, we'll be focusing on John McKay, the central figure through the first 9 years, and hearing candid comments.
But if you don't think I have an Irish temper, you're foolish. And if you think I don't die on that sideline, you're foolish. If you don't think I get angry down there, you're foolish. But if you think I'm going to run up and down the sideline patting everybody on the back, you are really foolish.
We'll be meeting fans, family, and friends. And we'll catch some glimpses of the coach like you've never seen before.
Let's go G, 22 blast, huh? All right. Oh, it's one. Jesus Christ, that's a bad call by me.
Winning national championships and coaching in the NFL is a long way from the coal mines of West Virginia. John McKay's father died when he was 13, and even though he had to work his way through high school, he saw sports as a way to get out.
Well, I think the situation is one you want to escape from. I was determined once I went into service that I would go to college. Because when we came out, you know, there was the GI Bill of Rights, and I wasn't sure that I would get a scholarship.
McKay did get a scholarship, a basketball scholarship to Purdue. After getting involved in football, McKay transferred to Oregon on the advice of a friend. Later, as an assistant coach, McKay was offered the job at USC.
Cork convinced me to go to Southern California. I don't think I would have gone without she convincing me of that, because they were not very good at the time. A real nice person, Don Clark, was the head coach. I went down in April, and he quit in December, and I was named the head coach in December of 1959.
The next 14 years, USC under John McKay captured 4 national titles, played in 8 Rose Bowls, and McKay coached 40 All-Americans, like these. USC became the most successful college football program in the country. And even then, McKay had his critics.
Well, those people are about 99% insane. I would not cheat on an athlete. I would rather quit than cheat on an athlete for one reason. I can't coach somebody that I've given something to that I didn't give someone else something. The great stars here get one thing over the other players, more publicity, and that's all they get. And of course, they also get the big bonus when they get out and go in professional football. There's where the pot of the gold is. It isn't $50 a month under the table or something like that. Certainly winning our first national championship in 1962, my third year there, having so many great backs who really were great backs. The game that pleased me the most was because my son played in it, was when we beat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, and when Hayden hit Johnny in front of the end zone for touchdown, we beat Ohio State. It was the because my son played and because of the way the game ended up with 30 seconds to go and win the ball game.
The McKay innovations of the I formation and the 3-4 defense give him his own place in history. Most of the football world was shocked when McKay chose to coach in an untried market like Tampa Bay. After McKay's announcement, LA sports commentators put the future into perspective.
He's going to have a tough first year, and I'll tell you why. There are a lot of $50,000 coaches in the National Football League who are going to run it up on him. And they're going to turn around to their owner and going to say, well, if that bleep is worth $2 million, what about me? And that's why they'll do it. He knows that. He's aware of it. It could happen to him his first year, it may happen the second year, but I have a feeling that within 5, he'll be a winner and he'll be in the playoffs.
Perillo was right. McKay believes that in 1975, Tampa Bay offered what he needed, an expansion club.
I had had several offers to coach professional teams. I said if I ever did it, I would like to do an expansion team because Sinatra's song always got to me. I did it my way. I thought the best thing to do is go and take a team, and I came here thinking that the people would be a little bit more forgiving the first and second year. I found out I was erroneous in that thought.
But owner Hugh Culverhouse saw much more than this. He saw John McKay, the man.
I was most impressed by John McKay, the man. I had naturally impressed by his football record, 4 national championships, 8 Rose Bowl appearances. But I also looked in to see how he won some. Like when playing against Purdue, he went for the 2 points rather than a tie. I like that. He lost. But 2 years later, he went for the 2 points against Ohio State and won.
Now, in the book, I hope you all read my message because that's about the last message you're going to get from me. I don't believe, as I said in that book, that I should do a lot of talking. I think that some coaches actually talk their way out of football. And I've been in it for 27 years, and I'm still getting paid. You will find out I am the least talking coach in America. If a guy's real good, I don't bother him. I might give some tips to you, like run faster or something like that someday, or catch the ball without a way to go, or watch the draw, 3rd and 27, obvious things. It's to you, it's to you. You're gonna run a curl. And you're gonna hustle. That's all right. You had a catcher's mitt, you'd have caught it.
And then it was time for Coach McKay and the Buccaneers to enter Tampa Stadium for the first time with a pledge from the owner.
May I say that we're here for one reason and one reason only. And that's to bring the fans great professional football. Coach McKay and Ron Wolf, their entire staff, are dedicated to giving you a winning team.
But Coach McKay and the Buccaneers were to find the first years to be long ones, realizing just how far they had to go to become a cohesive unit, able to catch, run, and score touchdowns. And finally, in New Orleans, December 11, 1977, the 0-26 record changed. The Buccaneers came together, scoring 3 touchdowns from 6 interceptions, tying an NFL record on their way to a 33-14 win over the Saints and their coach, a McKay teammate from Purdue.
I've known John for a long, long period of time. We started at Purdue University many, many years ago. And the thing that was very impressive about John, even when he was a player, was that he was a great student of football. And I think will go down in history as really one of the great collegiate football coaches of all time. Not many coaches who have been at one particular place for just 9 years have won 3 conference championships like John McKay has done. And I think that when it's all said and done, when it's all over with, people will look back and appreciate the great job that John McKay did, not only as a football coach, but also as a person.
The welcome home after the victory in New Orleans was nothing short of incredible. Thousands of fans gathered at one Buccaneer place to welcome home their team. The fans even named the game. It was known as Miracle Sunday. Now, with the first victory under their belts, the Buccaneers came home to Tampa Stadium for the final game of the regular season and their second straight win. At the end of the game,
Buccaneer fans were so happy, one might have thought the Bucs had just won the Super Bowl. After a frustrating 5-11 season in 1978, the Buccaneers were left with the worst record in the NFC Central Division. John McKay and the Buccaneers would be back to mount a record-setting year in '79. It was December 29, 1979, when the Buccaneers shocked the football establishment.
I didn't think there was a way in the world the Buccaneers could win this game. The architect is John McKay.
John McKay and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had won their first ever playoff game. They were one game away from the Super Bowl, and they were just in their 4th year of existence. The 24-17 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles was a culmination of a 10-6 regular season record. It was all part of the Buccaneers' 5-year plan, a plan that came a year early.
The reason I had a 5-year plan, I had a 5-year contract. See, I'd have had a 6-year plan if I had a 6-year contract or a 3-year plan. And so now everybody says, how can McKay be so intelligent at 5 years? Well, that was the length of the contract.
The '79 season started off at home against the division rival Detroit Lions. The Buccaneers dominated the game, beating the Lions 31-16 in front of over 68,000 fans. That started a 5-game winning streak, the best in the NFL in '79. By week 13 of the season, the Bucs had a chance to secure a playoff berth at home against the Vikings, but their first chance at a playoff failed 23-22. In classic Bucs style, the Cardiac Kids waited for the last game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs. A rain-soaked afternoon at Tampa Stadium that saw the Buccaneer defense hold the Chiefs to just 80 yards in total offense. It was a championship game played in the mud, yet the game only had one score.
Field goal attempt. Neil O'Donoghue awaiting the snap from Steve Wilson. It is a low snap. The kick is up. Good! The Buccaneers are the NFC Central Division champions.
The Bucs had won their first ever division title, just as John McKay had predicted. The '79 squad was the best ever team in Bucs history. A team that came within 9 points of the Super Bowl and went from worst to first. After the NFC Championship year, 1980 was another surprise. The Bucs were picked to repeat as division champs.
Had a disaster in '80 season when we had a lot of personal problems on the football team.
In both 1981 and '82, the Bucs had to string together late season wins. In '81, they beat Detroit in the Silverdome. Then in '82, they won 5 of their last 6 after the strike. And in the final game of the season, the Bucs beat Chicago in overtime. Both years, the road to the Super Bowl was blocked by the Cowboys in Dallas. With disappointing '83 and '84 seasons, John McKay thought someone else should have an opportunity to coach. And after this year's loss in Minnesota, he went to his owner.
John advised me this morning that he would like to end the speculation about next year, and because for health reasons, he'd like to take up my offer of becoming president of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a deep regret of mine that this decision was made by John.
Of all the people I've met in my life, he is the most honest person. He was more than fair to me, and I've never met anybody that I admire more for being a man of his word. I've always said that if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Just as he said he was going to do something, he did it.
Tampa Bay's touchdown drive. It'll be a career change for John McKay. Some people believe it'll be hard for him to leave coaching after 25 years.
Whoever the successor is, I want him to have much more success than I have. And my only goal in staying is to make sure that that person is much more successful than I was. I will say one thing, I will never draw another X or O, but I'll miss the going on the practice field with the players and planning for the game. I won't miss coming out of that tunnel and being told what I am. That everybody lies if they said it wouldn't like to be liked. And I really don't think that I was ever really liked here.
Through 34 years of playing and coaching football, John McKay has had one constant, his Corky.
And most coaches' wives that I've known are active in it, not to the point of the technical part of football, but they're very supportive and almost have to be. Sometimes they're the only one. Really, the children brought it up more than I did, because we always stuck together. We called ourselves the Irish Mafia, because you kind of had to. You know, they took it in grade school and so on, and so I think it made us very close.
When I talk to people on the phone and say this is John McKay, I get some interesting responses, but overall it's been a great experience for me over the years, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Mixed emotions, I guess. Sorry to see him get out of the profession, because we've enjoyed it so much, and it's been such a rallying point, I guess, for our family as a whole.
It was great being the coach's son at SC, because we won every game, and we did real well, so there was never a problem. It was nothing but a plus. But when we came here, I always thought that the three people that got the grief when we lost were the coach, the quarterback, and the coach's kid, and I happened to be him, so it got kind of tough there for a while.
The admiration for John McKay also extends to his colleagues and his friends.
I learned how to treat the football players. I learned how to treat players differently, like he has taught me to do. He had Joe Gibbs as an assistant football coach. He had John Robinson as a football coach. They're both doing well in pro football. So I think I've been taught by the best in John McKay.
People really don't understand Coach McKay. He's probably the most compassionate and honorable man that I've ever been around. We came out of the service together and been friends ever since. And they rubbed him wrong when he first came here with his one-liners, but he's probably the biggest-hearted and the most generous man that I've ever been around, and I just hate to see him end up his career this way.
But some of McKay's harshest critics and avid supporters are the fans.
Poor drafting, poor play calling. He's not a professional coach.
I like the man personally. You know, I've been to some of those those Boy Scout dinners, and you know, to listen to the man, and you almost love him, really.
He doesn't call plays like he should, but he knows talent. Well, and I like McKay.
The only trouble with John McKay is that he's retiring soon.
You're a John McKay fan, obviously.
I am a John McKay fan.
You can't hear it anymore. For John McKay, the cheering stopped and the booing too. McKay's now history, and what an intriguing, controversial, unique history it's been. Some notable ups and twice as many downs. But now, at this juncture, the most pulsating factor is, how did he leave the Bucs? What's the legacy for the coach who's to follow him? Well, counting the evidence from Sunday against the New York Jets, I'd say the old coach has left a healthy load of goods for the new guy. Tampa Bay's offense has never been so on track, so promising, with the arm of DeBerg, the hoofbeats of Wilder, the hands of House and Carter, and that now well-developing offensive line. Defensively, there's still a man named Selman and one named Green, plus a Logan. President McKay promises to use the draft to muscle up the defense. If that occurs, the new era should bring a lot more celebrations. I'm Hubert Mizell.
After preparing for the next